So let's get started. To start with, so let's just walk through some basic understanding. So let me call these nodes MD. So I basically paste out and then walk you through what these points are. So for this course, the tools that you will need will basically be, you will need a text editor, you will need a browser, and then you need your time and resources. So some of the text editors that you can use, anyone that suits your preference, you can. So I will also share out some links to maybe to their website where you can find them or download them. But just if you can do a quick search on Google about this, you find the links. So this is VS Code, just like the one I'm currently on now is VS Code. Then there is Atom, there's Notepad++, there's Notepad, which is a default text editor that comes with Windows. There's also Sublime Text. There are so many others. So whichever one that you think is okay for you, you can go along with it. And then you need a browser like browsers like Google Chrome, Microsoft Firefox, and Opera, and all the rest of them. So you need a browser, and then of course definitely you need to dedicate time and resource to this course. So that being said, the course is HTML5, and I will not really go into the history of HTML5, but HTML5 is the current standard, the current version of HTML5, and this has evolved up to now become a living standard. So it will no longer be in versions, rather more features will be added, and then browsers can now work alongside to implement those features as they are being added. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and is basically a language, a scripting language that allows you to define the markup or the layout of your website. So you use the language to define the flow, how the contents of your website are going to be laid out. So that's basically what HTML5 is used to do. And then this will be achieved through the use of HTML elements. And basically for anything you want to achieve, any layout you want to achieve, there will always be an HTML element for it, or maybe a combination of two or more or thereabout that you can put together in order to achieve that. Say for instance you need an image, there's an HTML element for image, and then you need to put a link, there's an HTML element for link, and then we'll get to that as we progress. And then these elements are basically made up of tags. So the way you define the elements is by using their tag names. So for example, this is the format for it. You have a less than sign, and then the tag name, and the greater than sign, and then the content of that element, and then you have a less than sign, a forward slash, and then the tag name again, and then a greater than sign. Basically what you have here is close to what you have on this side, except that you have this forward slash there. So this is the start tag, and then this is the ending tag. So for the ending tag is basically the start tag with a forward slash after the first less than sign there. So don't forget to put that forward slash, is very important. Now some elements do not have a start and ending tag, they only have a single tag. So in that case it will come in this format. You only have the tag name, less than sign, the tag name, and then the forward slash and less than and greater than sign. And then since in HTML5 sometimes this will be put this way, so you can have it like this or in this format. So as we continue, you will see, so this will basically serve same purpose as that. So another thing you need to understand, sometimes the default layout or the default behavior of the element might not really suit your preferences, so you may want to pass some configuration or some settings or some properties or attributes to the elements, HTML elements, in order to adjust their behavior to suit what you actually want to achieve. So in that case, you have HTML attributes, or some call it properties. So they are basically key value pairs. For example, for an element, you may want to maybe change the color, so you have the color as the key, and then the value of the color has to be maybe red or green or whatever color you want to pass, and then that's basically it. So for elements that have a start tag and an ending tag, this is the where you pass the attribute. It can be one or more attributes, so you can have, this is for a single attribute. If you have another one, add space and then specify the attributes. And then for a single tag element, this is the format for display, passing the attributes to it. Then these elements, as their number increases, they may start to, like, you find an element inside another element. This is not uncommon in a web document, to find an element inside another element that is inside another element. So they kind of create relationship, and we can use the same relationship that we use in families to express them. So you have stuff like siblings, parents, grandchild, first child, last child, and so on and so forth. So we'll get to this in a moment. So for our outline, we are going to be considering, this is the outline we are going to be considering. I'll try as much as possible to follow an order that depicts simple to the complex, where I move from simple to the complex without having to jump anyone. So the order may change, more features may be added as we continue, but this is the basics we are going to be taking, and then we do our projects, and that will be it for HTML5 course. So let's get started. So to start with, I would like to adjust this a bit, like open up my browser. I'm using Chrome. You can use any one. You can also use Chrome, and you'll be all fine. So basically, I will create a document in my folder. I have this folder I've created, Technify platform. So this is where I'll be working. So I'll create a file. I will name it index. You can choose any name of your choice, but I would prefer index. So just like every application has their own has its own file extension. The file extension for a web document is h.html. So I will name it index.html. So this is where I'll be doing my work. So the first thing in a web document you want to define is the type of document. So you do that using the doc type. So less than sign, exclamation mark, doc type, HTML. So this is basically declaring that this is an HTML document. And then you want to have the HTML tag to wrap around your content. So you have HTML. So we define HTML. So you have the start tag and the ending tag for the HTML. So everything that will be displayed on my web page will be found inside this HTML, inside the start and the ending of this HTML tag. So basically, a web page has two components. You have the head section, and then you have the body section. So I will define the head section So I will define the head section, and then I will also define the body section. The head section is where you pass some configuration or some metadata or information about the document, and then the body is the part that contains the items that users of your viewers of your web page can easily see. So for the head section, one of the things you want to pass is the title. So I'll add a tag. There's a tag called the title tag, so it's for displaying title of a web document. So I can call it HTML5 course from Technify. So this is the title of our page, and then in our body we can now display we can now put in the content that we want our users to see. So I can write hello world. This is a general situation. So I've written a basic web page and I've saved it. So all I need to do is to now add this web documents, this HTML5 to my documents, to my browser, so that my browser can read its content and then display it on the on itself. So I'll basically be using the file protocol. I'll copy the paths. There are many ways you can go to the file explorer and locate where this file is, and then right click and copy the path, and then but this editor has that feature, so I just right click and copy path. So I'll paste that here. So when I hit enter, so you can see that this page is displayed. You can see that the content of this body is actually what you have on this web page, and the title tag is displayed on the bar here. So this is like an identifier for your website. So that's what is being displayed here. So HTML5 course from Technify. So that's the title of the web page, and I think that's how we load our web documents into our browser. That's how we'll be loading it. There are many ways you can load it, but locally, as we are developing, that's the method we use, using our file system to load the documents. So up next we'll talk about the text and format. All right, welcome back. From our previous where we left off, we were able to load our page, and then it's working. And then the next thing we'll need to talk about is I've said something about the heading and the body, but let's keep it like that for now. Before we finish up this section, we'll touch it up again. And then for the text and the formats, we have that. See the way I've just dropped this text on the body that way. It's not a good idea to do it like that. The way to do it is to define what that text is. Is it a heading text? Is it a paragraph? What kind of content it is, so that the browser will be able to interpret it and render it adequately. So the first text I will talk about is how do we display headings. So we have this heading tag. So we have h1. So I can say HTML5 course. So I have HTML5 because this is, I'm defining that this content, remember the format I showed you at the earlier on when we were starting. You have the starts tag, you have the start tag, and then you have the text or the content, and then the ending tag. So that's basically the format that is taken. So this is basically saying that this HTML5 course, this text here contained in this between this start and ending tag is a heading. So when I render it, you can see, so you see it's HTML5 course. This is a heading. So you can see it's bold, and the size is also bigger compared to others. So this is the highest level of heading that HTML offers us. There are 6 in number, so you can have heading 2. Maybe I should just copy this so that it's easier. So this is heading 2. You can see that it's a bit less in size than that of heading 1. So you also have heading 3. Maybe I should just put everything. You also have heading 4. You also have heading 5 and also heading 6. This is the last. So when I save and refresh, you see that you can see the hierarchy, that this is bigger than this and like that to the smallest. So heading 6 is the smallest heading that we can get to. Also, you may want to display paragraph. You have this paragraph tag. So the P tag is for paragraph. So I can say welcome to HTML5 course. So when I save and refresh, you can see that this is displayed as a paragraph. Wrapping this text inside a paragraph will instruct the browser to render this as a paragraph, and it will help the contents to be more organized and more structured. So if we can display text, there are other ways we can display text, but let's work with these two for now. Let's say we have we can format this text to look in a certain way, and we have various tags for formatting text. So we have, okay, let me type out so we can have the marked. So we have mark. This is a marked content. Okay, let's, I talked about the concept of nesting. Let me demonstrate it here. So I have this paragraph tag, welcome to HTML5 course. This is this content is, so I can mark the content that I want to display is marked. So that mark tag is used for marking, is used for placing a highlight on text, is marked. You also have for when you want to display text in italics, so you can say italicized. Let me close up this bar. Is marked italicized. You can say bold. We also have the B tag, bold. So let's refresh, and then you can see that this content is marked italicized. Is the I tag is used to put the text that is inside it, is used to highlight the text that's inside it. Then the I tag is for italics, and then the B tag is for bold, and then you see that this one is marked because it's wrapped inside the marked tag. So that's basically a way of formatting your text. We can also have horizontal line. For example, for this one, we can add the HR tag. This will draw a horizontal line across the web page. So you can see the line is showing there. This is the line showing there. And we also have, if you notice that, for example, I push this forward up to this end. Okay, let me come over to this. I think that's a better way to illustrate it. Let's say in this content I have this I, I want to have spaces all the way down, and when I save, so I have spaces here. So when I refresh, I'm expecting to have space, but the space is not showing. So this means that HTML5 is white space insensitive. The spaces that you give are only for your own visual appeal, but it does not change anything. So to push it to the next line, we have the break BR tag, which is like pressing enter on your keyboard. So we have the BR tag, which will force that to go to the next line. So you can see it has moved to the next line. So even though they are still on the same line, if I need that to be 2, so we can add that. So in that way it has jumped to the next line. So we also have there are so many other tags. We also have the emphasis. Sorry, so let's put a p tag. This text is, we also have strong, is strong, and we also have the em tag for emphasis and emphasized. So you can see this text is strong, you can see it's bold, and then emphasized, italicized there. And then there are also some other tags for displaying certain things, like you want to display code. So you want to display code, you can say this is a code. This is a code indeed. So you can see that the format has changed. So let's put a BR tag there and then refresh. So you can see that this is a code. The text has been displayed as if it were a code. Also, the next is that we also have for example, you want to write stuff like let's say you want to write superscript and subscript. For example, today's date, let's say let's put it in a paragraph. Today is, so I think it's 26th. It's 26th. So when you write 26th July, so when you write this, it just shows up like that, 26th July. But I want this th to go up as a superscript. So we have this sup tag. So I just wrap that into that, and then you can see it goes up that way. So this is quite handy. Let's say you are writing your web application displays content like chemical equations, like where you have all those minus and all that, like chemical equation for the formula, chemical formula for water, where you have H. So for that too, you can, is a subscript. So you have sub2, and then you have O. So you see that will display as H2O. So that's the tag for that. You can also delete, okay, this you can adjust this code is, we also have the delete tag, is deleted. What this will do is to strike through it. So you can see deleted, it has struck through it, is deleted. You can put that. I want to show another, sorry for that, I want to show another this thing, the insert. You can also have this ins insert, another one. So let's see. So we see you can insert, you can see that insert. What it's doing there is to show an insertion there. So these are the basic ways we can format our text. Also, there's also something we can do. For example, before we go, I would like to touch up on the heading section and then also add an attribute, the style attribute. For example, let's say we have this paragraph. Let me make a paragraph here. A quick brown fox jumped over the lazy ducks. I've typed all the 25 characters. So when we render our page, let's say we want to modify this paragraph. You remember I talked about attributes. Let's say I don't want the way the paragraph is displayed like every other one. Maybe I want to change the color, the text color, the background color. So HTML5 provides us these style attributes that allows us to pass some stylings to our element. For example, for this paragraph, I can have the style attributes. So the style attribute, this is the key. Remember from our notes, say this is the key that maps to the value. So this style attribute will take a number of styles that you want to apply. All of this, each of them will be separated by a semicolon. So I have, let's say the first one I want is the color. So you can see that the color is color. It's not the way we type here in the color is let's say I want the color to be red, then to end that. So okay, let me actually say color to be let me say yellow. Yellow is a better one so that we can see it. So you can see that, sorry, what am I missing? Color, sorry, color is yellow. That quote is conflicting. So set the color to yellow and then you end that for that. So you can see that the text color has turned yellow. So you can also add other properties like background color. So you have this style. Normally HTML5 is not used for styling, but we can do some inline styling using these style attributes. Styling is dedicated to CSS3, which we'll cover later. So we can put the background color to black. Sorry, this is black. So one thing I want to point out is, you see this yellow square that is popping up here. It's not a requirement. It's not a requirement. It's just one of the features that comes with this editor. So in case the editor you are using doesn't show this, is never mind, it still works so long as you have this thing working fine. So you can see that the background, a black color has been applied to the background. So this is how we can add some colors, some styles to the elements. So the next thing I want to touch up is this head section. Remember how we said that the head section is where we pass some information, configuration, or some properties about the document. So one of the ways we do that is, there are so many information we can pass. We can pass the information about where to get the style sheets, the style that will be applied to this document. We can also pass information about the author, the content, what the website is all about, and other details we can pass in. So some of them, one of them I want to consider is the passing the information using the meta tag. So we have this meta. So one of the information is I want to define the character sets for this, and a very popular one is the UTF-8. So I have defined the character set for this document. The next thing is I want to define the author. So the name of the name is the author, and then the content is say Samuel Chibueze. So I've defined the author, and then the author is Samuel Chibueze. So I can also pass another meta tag. The name of this one is going to be description. Actually, this is very important, particularly this what you put here. Normally when you upload your website online, search engines can crawl the document in order to find out how best to index it so as to improve the ranking, your ranking in search results, especially if you are using organic SEO. So in SEO stands for search engine optimization, is a whole lot of stuff there. So what you put here will be used in order to identify your website, what your website does. And that doesn't mean that you should put a whole lot of stuff here. Basically, not much, just the basic description, and make sure that you don't basically go and start repeating most of the things that you've already covered in your main website. So so we'll basically put HTML5 course is a free web development module. Is the first and free web development module. So whatever, I'm just trying to get some stuff off my head to display. So this is the description. Another one, there's one of a keyword where you specify the keywords for your but let's just quickly go through this one. This is the viewport. This is actually very important. The content is set to the viewport. The name is the viewport. Basically the viewport, this does is, let me set it, the width is device width, no, that's device, this device width, and then the initial scale, where to start from, should be 1.0. so this is initial scale is 1.0. This is important because a lot of people are not everybody views your website from their desktop. Some people will reach out to your site from their mobile device, some from their tablets. So this allows this is basically saying set the width of my browser to the width of the current device that is viewing the site. So this allows us to add some features that will make our site to be responsive, device responsive. By that I mean the content of the website is automatically adjusted to suit the limits, to fit within the limits of the current device. So people can view your website on mobile device, they can view it from their tablets and from their device, from their desktop, whichever way, they still get almost the same experience that they have. that they intend. So that's what that meta tag is saying. The other one, although this is not really, the name is the keyword. These are usually words that words that describe your website. So you can say, we can say HTML5, just separate them with comma, web development. You can say Technify. You can say skill. You can say free. You can say tutorial. You can say training, and so on and so forth. So you can just pass that along. So basically, this is how we can display text and then add some formattings to our text. So we can use all this to display our text and then add some formattings to the text. So that will be it for this section. In the next section, I'll improve on this. At least basically what we've gotten is that we've gotten a basic template that we can build on for subsequent lessons. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have any question, please do let me know in the comment section, and then you can also put up your question in the platform and we'll do our best to respond to them. And don't forget to like this video. If you like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching.